It is so crazy how much your beliefs about something can just absolutely change everything about how you feel about something, how you think about something, just how you are acting in your day-to-day. One little mindset shift or one little change in perspective can make a world of difference. Hey, my name is Darz. Thanks for being here. It is sunshiny spring weather today, but it's probably gonna snow tomorrow. Such a spring up here. Snow day, sunny day. Snow day, sunny day. But not that regular and not that predictable, of course. Can't be predictable. So my realization of the day was my son just started saying why. Like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, he will say why after everything I say, even if it does not make sense to say why. It's just like, he's like, why? Everything I say, he's like, why? And I was just, reflecting on how he says that. And sometimes it's really frustrating for me because I don't know what to say. And he keeps repeating it, expecting an answer. And sometimes I'll answer why 10 times in a row about one thing, like telling him, okay, let's go out the door. He's like, why? I'm like, because we need to go. Why? Because we're bringing your sister to the bus stop. Why? Because she has to go to school. Why? And I'm just like, because she's going to school. Like, what do you want me to say? One trick that I learned from, I believe my mom used to say this, was, why do you think? And so I try to turn it back on him, but then he's like, I don't know, Mom, why? And he keeps turning it back on me. So it's like, I still don't have an answer. And for the most part, I start answering and then I just think, okay, I'm just sort of mindlessly answering him. And then I realize he's asked me why several times. And I think, okay, I don't know what else to say. And then it takes me a second and it hits me that he's said why so many times and he won't accept any answer. And it just makes me just laugh because I'm just, it is so funny. I remember some of my younger siblings going through this phase and I remember some talk about it and some of my nieces and nephews, and it's just, I'm like, I cannot believe I'm at this phase with my kid right now. And I don't think my daughter really went through that phase. So it was just kind of a shock that I'm like, what? This is me now going through this, having to answer why 50 times for one thing and thousands of times in a day. Okay, so for the most part, it's fine. It gets a little frustrating. It gets a little like, I don't know what to say. There's so many questions to answer and I don't have answers. So I was like, ugh, I'm at a loss. But when I was just thinking today, like how I've been working out, and sometimes when I work out with the kids hanging on me, or like he wants to jump on my back, or even just just trying to do something, oh my gosh, my arm is sore. Just trying to do something that I want to do that doesn't necessarily require my brain to think about what I'm doing. But if he's asking me why 50 times when I'm trying to work out, it is so hard to work out. And I was just pondering, like, why is it so hard to work out just with a kid saying why in your ear? Like, how come I can't just tune him out for just for the duration of the workout? Or like, how come I can't just turn off my ears for a second? And as soon as I had that thought, like, oh, I wish I could just turn off my ears for a second, I was like, hold on a second, hold up, wait a second, don't, because that saying, be careful what you wish for, that popped into my mind. And I was like, okay, I do not want to wish for not hearing. And I immediately turned around and said, I am so thankful that I can hear my son when he says why. It was just that moment, like, I do not want to be deaf, and I am glad I can hear my son say why. It doesn't necessarily make it like, oh, suddenly it's so easy to just answer his questions and I'm not getting frustrated at all. But it was just that shift in my mind of like, what if I couldn't hear him? And that's a scary thought. And some people can't hear their children. So it just made me so grateful in that moment. Like, I am glad I can hear my son. And so that was a shift of not only like okay, it doesn't have to bother me when my son is saying why 50 times in a row. But also, I was like, people think of that phrase, be careful what you wish for, in such a negative way, I think, that whenever people say, oh, be careful what you wish for, it's a negative thing. And so my other thought and my perspective shift was that phrase, be careful what you wish for, really does not have to be negative. It can be in a way of encouraging thinking about the other side of it, or like really thinking about what do you actually wish for and the different ways that it might happen. And for me to wish for being able to turn off my hearing for a second, I was like, wait a second. That could totally mean like what if I wake up deaf tomorrow? You know, that has happened to people, and that is not what I'm wishing for at all. Honestly, it's just thinking about what is it actually? And it's actually funny now that I'm saying this, I'm thinking through like people in business, when you're trying to figure out what's your why and like why are you in business, people say ask why 5 times. Because every single time you answer the question why, you get another level deeper. And so I'm realizing that with my son. Like he asks, why are we going out the door? I say, because we need to leave. Well, because we need to leave isn't really much of a reason. So why do we need to leave? Well, because we're going to the bus stop. Why are we going to the bus stop? Because she's going to school. Why is she going to school? Because she needs to learn. Why does she need to learn? Like there are so many levels underneath that if you start asking why. And I guess it's not only the oh my gosh, that's such a tongue twister. Mindset twist, mindset shift, but also a reminder to think about your why and ask yourself why and realize why you're doing things, and don't just go about things robotically. And that's my thought of the day. So thanks for being here. Leave your comments below. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.